Every great journey begins in a place that sets the tone for all the wonders to come, and in Belgium, that place is none other than Brussels, the capital not only of this small but powerful nation, but of Europe itself. This is a city that carries history in its stones, power in its institutions, and charm in its everyday streets. Brussels is more than a destination. It is an experience, a place where medieval towers meet gleaming glass buildings, where waffles and chocolate are as important as politics and art, and where every corner reveals another layer of a story centuries in the making. The heart of Brussels beats in its squares and streets, but nowhere more vividly than at the Grand Place. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a masterpiece of Gothic and Baroque architecture, a living stage where history and life unfold side by side. Surrounded by ornate guild halls, the town hall with its towering spire, and the King's House, the square feels like a palace under the open sky. Day or night, the Grand Place is a spectacle, golden details glinting in the sunlight, and at night, soft lights painting the facades with an almost magical glow. It is no wonder that visitors from around the world stand here in awe, whispering that this might just be one of the most beautiful squares on earth. But Brussels is not just a city of old stones, it is alive with creativity and modern energy. Walking through its streets, you quickly discover why it has earned the nickname, the capital of comics. Giant murals of Tintin, Lucky Luke, and the Smurfs stretch across buildings, reminding everyone that Belgium is the birthplace of some of the world's most beloved comic characters. It is a city that doesn't take itself too seriously, balancing political gravitas with playful artistry. Then, of course, there is the Atomium. Rising like a futuristic sculpture at the edge of the city, this steel giant was built for the 1958 World's Fair and has since become one of Brussels' most iconic landmarks. Its gleaming spheres represent the structure of an atom, magnified billions of times, symbolizing progress, innovation, and the forward-looking spirit of Belgium. Inside, exhibitions explore science and design, while the top sphere offers panoramic views of the city, reminding visitors that Brussels is as much about looking ahead as it is about cherishing its past. No introduction to Brussels would be complete without mentioning its culinary culture. For here, food is not just a pleasure, it is a way of life. The aroma of freshly baked waffles drifts through the streets, inviting passers-by to pause for a moment of indulgence. Chocolatiers line the avenues, each offering creations so exquisite they are works of art in themselves. Mussels with fries, hearty stews, and of course, the countless varieties of Belgian beer. All of these flavors reflect the richness of the nation's heritage and its passion for good living. Beyond the landmarks and delicacies, Brussels is also a city of contrasts and harmony. Here, French and Dutch coexist side by side, not as rivals but as two voices blending into one national song. The European quarter buzzes with the energy of diplomacy and international cooperation as leaders from across the continent gather to shape the future of Europe. And yet, just a short walk away, you can find yourself in quiet cobblestone lanes where flower boxes decorate windows and bicycles rest lazily against old stone walls. It is this blend of grand and humble, of global and local, that makes Brussels truly unforgettable. And then there is the spirit of its people, friendly, unpretentious, and proud of their culture. The people of Brussels make visitors feel like part of the story. Whether you're chatting with a chocolatier who explains the secrets behind their family recipes, or a market vendor selling fresh flowers with a smile, every encounter adds a human touch to the city's grandeur. Brussels is not just the starting point of our journey through Belgium. It is the key to understanding the nation itself. It embodies Belgium's diversity, its creativity, its love of beauty, and its place at the very heart of Europe. To stand in Brussels is to stand at a crossroads where history, culture, and the future converge. And as we leave the capital behind, our adventure takes us deeper into Belgium's treasures. Next, we step into the jewel of Brussels itself, the Grand Place, an architectural wonder that shines brighter with every glance, and a square that tells the story of Belgium in stone and light. There are places in the world that make you stop, breathe deeply, and wonder if you've stepped into a dream. In Brussels, that place is the Grand Place, a square that has been called one of the most beautiful in the world, a jewel box of stone and light, and a living testament to the artistry of human imagination. To stand here is to feel the pulse of centuries, where every facade, every carving, every detail whispers a piece of Belgium's story. The Grand Place, or Grote Markt, is more than just a square. It is the heart of Brussels. Once a medieval marketplace bustling with traders and craftsmen, it has transformed over the centuries into a stage of architectural grandeur. Today, its cobblestones are surrounded by buildings so elaborate that they seem sculpted from dreams. The ornate guild halls, the soaring town hall with its 96-meter tower, and the King's House, or Maison du Roi, each structure alive with history and pride. The square is an open-air museum where the Gothic, Baroque, and Louis XIV styles blend seamlessly, creating a harmony that feels almost divine. As the sun shifts across the sky, the Grand Place transforms. In the morning light, golden accents shimmer gently, as if greeting the day with quiet majesty. By afternoon, the stone facades glow warmly, alive with the voices of visitors marveling at their beauty. But it is at night that the Grand Place becomes pure magic. Floodlit against the darkness, the buildings seem to float, their intricate details illuminated in golden light. In those moments, it feels as if time has stopped, and the square belongs not just to the present, but to all who ever stood here before. But the Grand Place is not a monument frozen in history. It is a living, breathing part of Brussels. Festivals, concerts, and gatherings fill the square with life throughout the year. One of its most enchanting traditions is the flower carpet, held every 2 years in August. For a few dazzling days, the entire square is covered with a vast tapestry of begonias, arranged in intricate patterns and vibrant colors. Thousands come from across the globe to witness this ephemeral masterpiece, a celebration of both nature's beauty and human creativity. In those days, the Grand Place becomes a canvas, reminding us that art can be fleeting, but its impact eternal. The guild halls themselves are stories carved in stone. Each one represents the pride and craft of the guilds that once shaped Brussels' life: the bakers, the brewers, the boatmen, the butchers. Their facades are adorned with gilded details, statues, and symbols, each one a declaration of identity, power, and artistry. To walk past them is to walk through the heartbeat of medieval Brussels, where commerce and community intertwine to create something larger than life. And at the center of it all, the town hall stands as the crown jewel. Its soaring Gothic tower, topped by a statue of Saint Michael slaying a dragon, dominates the skyline. Inside, grand halls with tapestries and sculptures speak of Brussels' political and cultural heritage. For centuries, this has been the place where decisions were made, where history unfolded, and where the city declared its place in the world. Opposite, the King's House, now the Museum of the City of Brussels, houses treasures that preserve the memory of the city, including the famous costumes of the mannequin peas, the cheeky statue that has become one of Brussels' symbols. What makes the Grand Place so unforgettable is not just its beauty, but its spirit. It is a place where past and present meet, where you can sit at a cafe terrace sipping Belgian beer, surrounded by centuries of artistry, and feel connected to something timeless. It is where couples propose, artists sketch, musicians play, and travelers pause in awe. The square does not just display beauty, it invites you to live inside it, to be part of its story. For the people of Brussels, the Grand Place is not just a landmark, it is their pride, their heritage, their soul. And for those who visit, it is an encounter with wonder that lingers long after they leave. To stand in the Grand Place is to realize that some places are not merely built, they are crafted with love, devotion, and vision across centuries. As we leave this breathtaking square, we step into the next chapter of Belgium's wonders. From the grandeur of Brussels' heart, we journey north to Antwerp, the city of diamonds, art, and a port that has shaped the world. A place where Rubens's brushstrokes and shimmering gems tell stories of beauty and ambition. Some cities shine with quiet elegance, while others dazzle with brilliance that cannot be ignored. Antwerp belongs to the second kind. Known as the diamond capital of the world and the home of one of Europe's greatest painters, Peter Paul Rubens, Antwerp is a city where wealth, art, and culture sparkle as brightly as the jewels in its shop windows. To walk through Antwerp is to experience both the glitter of the present and the glow of the past, each facet reflecting the resilience and creativity of this remarkable city. At the very heart of Antwerp lies its most radiant treasure, the Diamond District. For centuries, this neighborhood has been the beating heart of the global diamond trade. Here, behind discreet shopfronts and quiet offices, billions of dollars worth of gems pass through skilled hands each year. Traders, cutters, and polishers work with precision and tradition, turning raw stones into dazzling masterpieces. The district is a world of whispers and sparkle, where deals are sealed with trust and expertise honed over generations. For visitors, it is a glimpse into a trade that has defined Antwerp's identity and secured its place as the diamond capital of the world. But Antwerp's brilliance extends far beyond diamonds. Step into the Cathedral of Our Lady, and you are greeted not only by soaring Gothic arches, but by the works of Rubens himself. His monumental paintings, like the Descent from the Cross, still hang here, filling the cathedral with passion, movement, and divine light. Rubens was more than an artist. He was the soul of Antwerp's golden age, a man whose work bridged heaven and earth. Today, his legacy lives on in the Rubenshuis, his former home and studio, where visitors can walk through the rooms where genius once flourished. It is not just a museum, it is a portal into the mind of a master who defined Baroque art. The city itself feels like a canvas, blending the medieval with the modern. The Grote Markt, Antwerp's main square, is framed by ornate guild halls crowned with golden statues and watched over by the impressive town hall, a Renaissance masterpiece that speaks of the city's prosperity during the 16th century. In its center stands the Brabo Fountain, telling the legend of the giant Antigone, whose defeat gave the city its name. According to the tale, Brabo cut off the giant's hand and threw it into the river, a story immortalized in the very symbol of Antwerp, a hand. Yet Antwerp is not only about history, it is also a hub of cutting-edge design and fashion. The city has earned its reputation as a fashion capital, home to the avant-garde Antwerp Six, a group of designers who redefined global fashion in the 1980s. Today, boutiques, ateliers, and the Fashion Museum, MoMu, continue this legacy, making Antwerp a destination for style as much as for diamonds. It is a place where art is not confined to galleries but worn on the streets. The city's port, one of the largest in the world, also tells a story of ambition and endurance. For centuries, Antwerp's port has been a gateway to the world, fueling its growth and prosperity. Even today, its vast docks and cranes stretch to the horizon, a testament to the city's global reach and resilience. The Maas Museum aan de Stroom rises like a modern fortress near the port, offering sweeping views of the city while telling stories of Antwerp's maritime past, its trade, and its connection to the wider world. From its rooftop, the entire city unfolds old spires, bustling streets, and the mighty river Scheldt weaving through it all. Antwerp also delights with its flavors. Belgian beer and chocolate are, of course, present, but here you also find culinary traditions tied to the river and the port. Local dishes like stoofvlees, a rich beef stew cooked in beer, warm the heart, while street vendors tempt visitors with crispy Belgian fries served in paper cones. Cafes buzz with life, where locals and travelers alike linger over conversations, as if the city itself insists that you slow down and savor its richness. What makes Antwerp unforgettable is its ability to sparkle in so many ways. It is a city of diamonds, yes, but also of art, legends, trade, and style. Each corner holds a new facet, another glimpse of brilliance waiting to be discovered. Antwerp is not a city you simply see, it is a city you feel, a city that leaves its shine upon you long after you leave. As we leave Antwerp's shimmering streets, our journey through Belgium leads us to yet another marvel. Next, we travel to Bruges, the Venice of the north, where canals wind through cobblestone streets and medieval towers reflect in the water, creating one of the most enchanting cities in Europe. There are cities that you visit, and then there are cities that feel like stepping into a storybook. Bruges is the latter. Known as the Venice of the North, Bruges is a place where time seems to have slowed down, where medieval towers rise above tranquil canals and cobblestone streets echo with centuries of history. To wander here is to wander through a dreamscape, one that captures the heart of every traveler who sets foot in this fairy tale city. Bruges owes much of its charm to its canals, which weave through the city like silver threads, reflecting the facades of gabled houses and Gothic towers. A boat ride here is like drifting through a living painting, arched stone bridges overhead, swans gliding gracefully alongside, and willow trees trailing their branches into the water. Every turn of the canal reveals another postcard-perfect view, another moment of serenity that feels almost unreal. This is why Bruges is often compared to Venice, yet it has a charm all its own, quieter, softer, and imbued with northern grace. At the heart of the city stands the Markt, Bruges' central square. Here, colorful medieval guild houses line the square with stepped gables and vibrant facades, each one a testament to the city's prosperous past as a hub of trade. Overlooking it all is the Belfry of Bruges, a towering 83-meter symbol of the city's pride and independence. For centuries, its bells have rung across the rooftops, marking the rhythm of daily life. Climbing its 366 steps rewards visitors with a panoramic view of the city, a sea of red-tiled roofs, church spires, and canals stretching into the distance. From here, you truly grasp the timeless beauty of Bruges. But Bruges is more than stunning squares and canals. It is a city deeply rooted in history. In the Middle Ages, it was one of Europe's most important trading centers, a place where merchants from across the continent gathered to exchange goods, ideas, and culture. The wealth of that golden age is still visible in its architecture and its art. The Basilica of the Holy Blood, for example, houses a revered relic said to contain a vial of Christ's blood brought to Bruges during the Crusades. Its Gothic chapel glows with stained glass and intricate decoration, offering a glimpse into the city's spiritual devotion. Bruges is also a city of art, and no artist captures its spirit better than Jan van Eyck. Known as the father of oil painting, Van Eyck lived and worked here during the 15th century, and his masterpieces still embody the city's golden past. Today, the Groningen Museum houses works from Van Eyck and other Flemish masters, reminding visitors that Bruges was not only a center of trade, but also of creativity and beauty. And then, of course, there are the flavors of Bruges. Belgian chocolate here feels even more indulgent when savored in a medieval square, its richness melting on the tongue as centuries of history surround you. Waffles, freshly baked and topped with fruit or cream, add sweetness to the journey. While the city's countless cafes serve some of the best beers in the world, brewed according to traditions that stretch back generations. In Bruges, every taste is a celebration of Belgium's culinary artistry. The city is equally enchanting in every season. In summer, flowers spill from window boxes, and the canals shimmer beneath the sunlight. Autumn paints the trees with shades of gold and crimson, while winter wraps the city in magic, its Christmas markets glowing with twinkling lights and the scent of mulled wine. In spring, the swans return to the canals, symbols of Bruges' beauty and grace. No matter when you visit, Bruges always feels like a fairy tale brought to life. What makes Bruges unforgettable is its ability to combine grandeur with intimacy. It is a city of soaring towers and bustling squares, but also of quiet alleys, hidden courtyards, and gentle waterside walks. It invites you not just to see, but to linger, to slow down, and to let its magic seep into your soul. Bruges is not just a destination, it is an experience. one that stays with you long after you've left its cobblestone streets. To visit Bruges is to carry a piece of timeless beauty with you, a reminder that some places are so perfectly preserved, they feel like they belong not only to history but to eternity. From the dreamlike canals of Bruges, our journey through Belgium continues to another city of great pride and tradition. Next, we travel to Ghent, a city of students, spires, and stories, where medieval castles stand alongside vibrant modern life, and where history and energy blend into one unforgettable experience. Some cities whisper their stories quietly, while others sing them boldly from their rooftops and rivers. Ghent is the latter, a city that pulses with life, where the echoes of medieval towers blend seamlessly with the laughter of students, the rhythms of festivals, and the calm flow of canals. If Bruges feels like stepping into a fairy tale, then Ghent feels like stepping into a living, breathing history book, one that is still being written every day. At first glance, Ghent astonishes with its architecture. Rising proudly above the city are the three towers that define its skyline. Street, Nicholas Church, the Belfry of Ghent, and Street, Bavo's Cathedral. Each one tells its own story, but together they form a chorus of stone, a testament to the city's power and devotion in the Middle Ages. The Belfry, with its dragon-shaped weather vane, once guarded the city's charters and treasures, a symbol of independence and civic pride. Street, Bavo's Cathedral, holds perhaps the greatest artistic treasure of them all, the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb, painted by the Van Eyck brothers in 1432. This masterpiece of Flemish art, with its vivid colors and intricate details, has inspired awe for centuries, surviving wars, thefts, and time itself. To stand before, it is to stand before a window into the soul of Ghent's golden age. But Ghent is not a museum. It is alive, with modern energy. Its medieval streets are filled not only with Gothic stone, but with bicycles, cafes, and the buzz of students from its universities. This youthful spirit makes Ghent vibrant and approachable, a place where ancient castles share space with bustling markets and trendy bars. The Graaslei and Korenlei, the twin quays along the River Lys, are perhaps the best example of this harmony. Here, medieval guildhouses line the water, their reflections shimmering in the canal, while terraces spill over with people enjoying drinks, laughter, and music. By day, it is picturesque. By night, when the city's lighting plan bathes the buildings in a golden glow, it is pure magic. And then, there is Gravenstein, the castle of the Counts. Rising in the city center, this fortress of gray stone seems pulled straight from the pages of a knight's tale. Built in the 12th century, it once served as the seat of the Counts of Flanders, complete with towers, ramparts, and even a torture chamber that tells darker stories of the past. Today, it is a place of fascination, offering visitors panoramic views from its battlements and a journey through centuries of history. It is proof that Ghent was not only a city of wealth, but also of power, defense, and resilience. What makes Ghent unique, however, is the way it celebrates life in the present. The city is famous for its festivals, none more iconic than the Gentse Feesten, one of Europe's largest cultural events. Every July, the city transforms into a stage for music, theater, street performances, and art, drawing hundreds of thousands of visitors. It is a festival that embodies Ghent's character, welcoming, creative, and full of joy. Ghent is also a city of flavors. Here, you can savor Belgian classics, but also unique local specialties like waterzooi, a creamy stew of fish or chicken, and kuberdens, cone-shaped raspberry candies, known as nose sweets by locals. Craft beer flows abundantly, with small breweries keeping centuries-old traditions alive. Each taste, like each building, feels tied to history yet alive with modern creativity. The charm of Ghent lies not only in its monuments or festivals, but in its contrasts. It is a place where you can walk through a medieval square and then stumble upon cutting-edge street art, where you can explore a centuries-old cathedral and then enjoy a lively student concert by the river. It is both grand and intimate, historical and youthful, solemn and joyful. In Ghent, the past and present do not compete, they dance together, creating a city that is as vibrant as it is historic. For travelers, Ghent offers something rare, the chance to feel like part of its rhythm, not just a spectator. It does not overwhelm with crowds the way Bruges sometimes does, nor does it hide its treasures. Instead, it invites you in with warmth, letting you discover its beauty at your own pace. Whether you're gazing at Van Eyck's masterpiece, savoring a quiet coffee along the Graaslei, or cheering with thousands during a summer festival, Ghent is more than a stop on Belgium's map. It is an experience, a reminder that history does not only belong in the past, it lives here, woven into every brick and every song, every canal and every celebration. As we leave the canals and towers of Ghent behind, our journey through Belgium continues southward, where we find Leuven, the lively university city, a place of learning, culture, and youthful vibrance that has shaped generations. Some cities are defined by their towers, others by their rivers, but Leuven is defined by its mind. This is the city of students, scholars, and thinkers, where centuries of knowledge and culture have shaped not just Belgium, but the world. To enter Leuven is to step into a place where history and youth coexist, where the stones of ancient halls echo with laughter and debate, and where every corner feels alive with the energy of discovery. Leuven is home to KU Leuven, one of the oldest and most respected universities in Europe, founded in 1425 for nearly 6 centuries. Its halls have nurtured generations of scholars, scientists, and leaders. Walking through the city, you feel the weight of its intellectual legacy. The university library, rebuilt after its destruction in World War I, stands as a proud symbol of resilience and knowledge. Its towering spire rises above the city, and inside, its vast reading rooms remind visitors that Leuven's greatest treasure is not gold or diamonds, but ideas. The city's academic spirit is matched only by its beauty. At the heart of Leuven lies the town hall, a Gothic masterpiece so intricate that it seems more like lace than stone. With its ornate spires, statues, and delicate details, it is often called one of the most beautiful town halls in the world. Standing in the Grote Markt, surrounded by this architectural wonder and the soaring street, Peter's Church, you cannot help but marvel at the artistry that flourished here during the Middle Ages. The church itself houses treasures like Dirk Bouts's The Last Supper, a masterpiece of Flemish painting that rivals any work of the Italian Renaissance. Yet Leuven is not a city trapped in its past. It is vibrant, young, and full of life, thanks to its tens of thousands of students. Cafes and bars spill onto the streets, bicycles zip through cobblestone lanes, and music drifts out of hidden courtyards. The Oude Markt, known as the longest bar in the world, is a square lined entirely with cafes, where students and locals gather late into the night. Here, the spirit of Leuven is at its most joyful, a community united by laughter, conversation, and friendship. Leuven is also known for another global legacy beer. This is the birthplace of Stella Artois, one of the world's most famous beers, first brewed here in the 14th century. Today, Leuven continues to be a brewing capital, with traditions that blend history and innovation. Visiting the Stella Artois brewery, or enjoying a craft beer in one of the city's countless bars, connects you to a heritage that is as Belgian as it gets. For Leuven, beer is more than a drink, it is culture, history, and identity in a glass. The city also offers quieter treasures. The Groot Beginhof, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a beautifully preserved beginnage, a peaceful community, once home to religious women who lived independently but devoted their lives to God. With its red brick houses, cobbled streets, and calm courtyards, it feels like a step back in time, a serene escape from the city's lively rhythm. Walking here, you sense the layers of history, the lives of countless women who shaped Leuven's story in their own quiet way. What makes Leuven so unforgettable is the balance it strikes between past and present, tradition and innovation. On one side, you have Gothic masterpieces, medieval churches, and centuries-old academic halls. On the other, you have a city alive with creativity, modern research, and a youthful energy that seems to renew itself with every new student who arrives. This harmony gives Leuven a timeless quality, always rooted in history, yet always looking toward the future. Leuven is more than a university town. It is a living testament to the power of knowledge, community, and resilience. It reminds us that cities are not only built of stone, but of ideas, not only defined by their monuments, but by the people who carry their spirit forward. To walk through Leuven is to walk through centuries of human progress, while feeling the pulse of a city that refuses to stand still. As we leave Leuven's academic streets and lively squares behind, our journey through Belgium takes us deeper into its royal past. Next, we travel to Laeken, the royal district of Brussels, where palaces, gardens, and monuments tell the story of Belgium's kings and queens, and where tradition and grandeur meet under the shadow of the royal crown. Every nation has a place where its royal story is written in stone and garden, where crowns and palaces tell the tale of power, tradition, and identity. In Belgium, that place is Laeken, the royal district of Brussels. This elegant neighborhood is more than just a residential quarter. It is the heart of Belgium's monarchy, a district where grandeur meets serenity, and where visitors are invited to glimpse the regal past and present of this proud nation. At the center of Laeken stands the Royal Palace of Laeken, the official residence of Belgium's kings and queens. Unlike the palace in central Brussels, which serves as a ceremonial and administrative seat, Laeken is where the royal family truly lives. Surrounded by vast parkland and protected by imposing gates, the palace exudes both majesty and intimacy. Its neoclassical facade, with stately columns and balanced proportions, reflects the elegance of 18th century design, while its interior, though rarely open to the public, holds the secrets of state meetings, royal banquets, and the private lives of Belgium's monarchs. Yet the true wonder of Laeken lies not only in the palace but in the extraordinary gardens that surround it. Known as the royal greenhouses of Laeken, these vast glass and iron structures are masterpieces of 19th century architecture, designed under the reign of King Leopold II. Every spring, for just a few weeks, the greenhouses open their doors to the public, unveiling a spectacular world of exotic plants, blooming flowers, and soaring domes of glass. Walking through them is like stepping into a fantasy pathways lined with camellias, rare orchids glowing in the light, and palm trees rising high beneath elegant arches of glass. It is one of the most enchanting experiences Belgium offers, a royal paradise created not only for the crown but for the people. The district is also home to monuments that speak of Belgium's ambition and pride. Among them stands the Church of Our Lady of Laeken, a neo-Gothic masterpiece commissioned by King Leopold I, Belgium's first monarch, as a tribute to his beloved wife, Queen Louise Marie. Today, the church serves as the royal family's burial place, its crypt holding generations of kings and queens. Its spire reaches toward the sky, visible from afar, a beacon of Belgium's spiritual and royal heritage. Not far from the palace, the atomium rises, though not royal. It is monumental in its own right. Built for the 1958 Brussels World's Fair, this futuristic structure of gleaming spheres has become one of Belgium's most iconic landmarks. Together with Laken's palaces and gardens, it creates a dialogue between tradition and innovation, past and future, monarchy and modernity. The district is also surrounded by green spaces that invite quiet reflection. The vast royal park of Laeken is a retreat of lakes, wooded paths, and hidden corners, where nature softens the grandeur of palaces. The Japanese tower and the Chinese pavilion, commissioned by Leopold II, as part of his fascination with world cultures, stand nearby, offering an exotic contrast to the European landscape. These structures, though sometimes overlooked, are rare gems that remind visitors of Belgium's openness to global influences during the age of exploration and empire. What makes Laeken special is not only its architecture or monuments, but the sense of continuity it represents. Here, the monarchy is not just a figure in history books, it is a living institution, still shaping Belgium's identity today. The royal palace, the greenhouses, the church, the monuments, all of them tell the story of a nation that, despite its divisions and challenges, has always found unity in its crown. For visitors, Laeken offers something rare: a chance to step into Belgium's royal heart, to feel the blend of tradition and elegance, and to walk in spaces that, for centuries, have been part of the nation's most important moments. Whether you are admiring the spring blossoms inside the glass domes, standing before the Gothic arches of the royal church, or gazing at the palace gates, you sense the weight of history and the grace of continuity. Laeken is not just about royalty, it is about Belgium's story of resilience, ambition, and beauty. It is where kings and queens lived, where traditions were born, and where grandeur is still alive today. As we leave the royal gardens and palaces behind, our journey takes us into the very heart of Belgium's southern treasures. Next, we travel to Wallonia's pride, the city of Namur, where citadels rise above rivers, and history flows as strongly as the waters of the Meuse. There are cities that grow quietly, hidden in the shadow of their more famous neighbors. And then there are cities that rise like guardians of history, perched high above rivers, carved into stone, commanding respect for centuries. Namur is one such city. Known as the gateway to Wallonia, this enchanting town lies where the Sambre and Meuse rivers meet, crowned by one of Europe's mightiest citadels. Here, every cobblestone, every fortress wall, and every flowing river tells the story of Belgium's resilience, its strategic importance, and its enduring charm. From the very first glance, Namur feels like a city born from the marriage of nature and human ingenuity. The Meuse River glides through, broad and calm, reflecting the light of the sky, while the smaller Sambre winds its way in, joining forces in a powerful embrace. Above this confluence rises the citadel of Namur, a fortress so commanding that it has been called the termite mound of Europe for its intricate network of tunnels and defenses. Once fought over by Romans, Spaniards, Austrians, and French, today the citadel stands as both a monument to history and a breathtaking vantage point. Climbing its paths, you can almost hear the echoes of battle, the footsteps of soldiers, the clash of swords. Yet, what was once a fortress of war has now become a place of peace. Visitors can explore its underground passages, marvel at its bastions, and take in panoramic views of the rivers and city below. From here, Namur's beauty stretches in all directions. The gentle hills of Wallonia, the winding waterways, the red rooftops, and the domes of churches rising proudly in the old town. Descending from the citadel into the city, Namur reveals another side, one of elegance, warmth, and culture. Its historic center is a maze of narrow streets lined with boutiques, cafes, and traditional houses, with their characteristic gray stone and brick facades. The Saint-Aubin Cathedral dominates the skyline, with its neoclassical grandeur, a symbol of faith and artistry. Inside, golden light pours through tall windows, illuminating a space that feels both majestic and intimate. Namur is also a city of bridges. The Pont de Jambe, the oldest bridge across the Meuse, connects centuries of history with modern life. From its arches, you can gaze upon the flowing river and imagine merchants, pilgrims, and soldiers crossing here for generations. These waterways, once the arteries of trade and conflict, are now the lifeblood of leisure and beauty. Boat rides on the Meuse offer a unique perspective, gliding past cliffs, vineyards, and historic buildings, all reflected in the shimmering water. But Namur is not just about fortresses and cathedrals, it is also about spirit. This is a city that embraces art, culture, and festivals. The Namur International Film Festival draws filmmakers and dreamers from around the world, while the colorful Walloon Festival fills the streets each September with music, laughter, and celebration. Street performers entertain, traditional games return to life, and the city becomes a stage where Walloon heritage shines brightly. And then there is the food, a delight that Belgium never fails to deliver. In Namur, you can savor escargot à la Namuroise, snails prepared in a rich, herb-filled broth, a specialty that surprises and delights. Pair it with Belgian beer brewed in nearby abbeys, or indulge in a sweet tarte al jote, a local pastry made with fresh cheese and herbs. Every bite is a taste of tradition, rooted in the fertile lands that surround the city. What makes Namur unforgettable is the way it combines contrasts. It is a city of strength and softness, of high walls and flowing rivers, of war and peace, of history and celebration. It guards the past with its citadel, yet it welcomes the present with open arms. For travelers, Namur offers not just sights but experiences standing atop its fortress, drifting along its rivers, walking through its markets, and tasting its unique flavors. As the sun sets over the Meuse, the city glows golden, its bridges lit with reflections, its citadel standing proud against the twilight sky. In that moment, Namur becomes more than a destination, it becomes a feeling. A reminder that Belgium's wonders are not always the loudest or the largest, but sometimes the ones that whisper through the stones of a fortress and the ripples of a river. And as we leave Namur behind, we journey deeper into Wallonia, to a place where cliffs and rivers create one of Belgium's most picturesque towns. Next, we arrive in Dinant, the Pearl of the Meuse, a city of dramatic landscapes, legendary music, and striking beauty. Some places feel as though they were painted onto the landscape by the hands of a dreamer, where nature's drama and human history meet in perfect harmony. Dinant is one such masterpiece. Nestled on the banks of the Meuse River, pressed tightly between towering limestone cliffs and shimmering waters, this enchanting town is known as the Pearl of the Meuse. It is a place of breathtaking beauty, musical legacy, and unforgettable charm. The first impression of Dinant is almost surreal. Approaching the town by river or road, you are greeted by a picture that seems too perfect to be real. Colorful houses line neatly along the water's edge, the slender spire of the Collegiate Church of Notre Dame rising gracefully into the sky, and above it all, the mighty citadel of Dinant perched like a guardian atop the cliffs. This view has inspired painters, poets, and travelers for centuries, and for good reason. It is one of the most iconic and dramatic sights in all of Belgium. The citadel, with its walls carved into rock, tells the story of a town that has stood at the crossroads of conflict and resilience. Originally built in the 11th century and later rebuilt by the French in the 19th century, the fortress has witnessed sieges, battles, and occupations. Today, visitors can climb or take a cable car to its heights, where sweeping views unfold, the Meuse winding through the valley, the rooftops of Dinant glistening below, and the cliffs stretching endlessly into the horizon. Standing here, it is impossible not to feel the weight of history and the triumph of survival. Yet, Dinant is not only a city of stone and battles, it is also the birthplace of music. Adolphe Sax, the inventor of the saxophone, was born here in 1814. His legacy permeates the town, from the quirky saxophone sculptures that line the Charles de Gaulle Bridge, each painted in bold designs representing different nations, to the small museum dedicated to his life and invention. Walking through Dinant, you feel the rhythm of this heritage, a melody that flows like the river itself, uniting past and present. The Collegiate Church of Notre Dame is another jewel of Dinant. With its Gothic architecture, its onion-shaped bell tower, and its riverside location pressed against the cliffs, it is unlike any other church in Belgium. Inside, the stained glass windows glow with vibrant colors, casting patterns of light that dance across the stone walls. The church, like the town, has faced destruction many times, from rockfalls to wars, yet each time it has risen again, stronger and more beautiful. The Meuse River itself is the lifeblood of Dinant. Once a highway for trade and a stage for conflict, it is now a place, serenity, and adventure. Boats drift lazily along its waters, offering visitors the chance to see Dinant's cliffs and churches reflected in the shimmering surface. Kayakers paddle through the currents, while cyclists follow its banks into the lush countryside. The river brings life to the town, just as it has for centuries, and the countryside surrounding Dinant is no less enchanting. Just a short journey away lies the Grotte la Merveilleuse, one of Belgium's most beautiful caves, filled with stalactites and underground wonders. The Château de Friere, often called the Versailles of the Meuse, offers manicured gardens and elegant halls that once welcomed Europe's nobility. The natural beauty of the Ardennes hills begins here, two forests, trails, and cliffs that invite exploration. Dinant is also a city of flavors. The region is famous for its crunchy, caramelized biscuits called coupe de Dinant, made from honey and flour, baked so hard that they are as much art as they are food. They are often carved into intricate designs, a sweet symbol of the town's creativity and resilience. And of course, like all of Belgium, Dinant pairs its specialties with local beers brewed in nearby abbeys, each sip a reminder of tradition and craftsmanship. As evening falls, Dinant transforms into a scene of pure magic. Lights shimmer across the river, the church glows against the dark cliffs, and the citadel stands illuminated like a crown above the town. Reflections ripple on the water, and the whole scene becomes a painting come to life, a moment you wish could last forever. Dinant is more than a destination. It is an experience, a harmony of history, music, and landscape that touches the soul. It shows us how beauty can endure despite centuries of conflict, how music can rise from the simplest of places to change the world, and how a river can shape the destiny of a people. And as we leave the Pearl of the Meuse behind, our journey continues deeper into the Ardennes. Next, we explore Belgium's wild and untamed heart, a region of forests, rivers, legends, and World War echoes the Ardennes, where nature and history intertwine in unforgettable ways. There are places where history sleeps quietly, hidden beneath layers of stone and memory, and there are places where it roars through valleys, whispers in forests, and lingers in the very air you breathe. The Ardennes is one such place. Known as Belgium's wild heart, this vast region of rolling hills, thick forests, meandering rivers, and rugged cliffs is both a sanctuary of natural beauty and a battlefield of Europe's past. It is here that Belgium's soul is revealed, not in palaces or grand squares, but in the silence of nature and the echoes of history. The Ardennes stretch across southern Belgium, a land that feels worlds away from the bustling cities of Brussels, Antwerp, or Ghent. As you enter, the rhythm of life slows. The roads twist through pine-covered hills, small villages appear like postcards frozen in time, and rivers carve paths that glisten in the sunlight. This is a region made for those who crave peace, adventure, and a deeper connection with the land. Nature is the Ardennes' most precious gift. Vast forests invite hikers to lose themselves in their green embrace, while trails lead to dramatic viewpoints where the horizon rolls endlessly like waves of earth. The River Arthe winds gracefully through valleys, its calm waters reflecting the surrounding cliffs, while the Semois River offers some of the most picturesque landscapes in all of Belgium: verdant hillsides, ancient stone bridges, and quiet hamlets where time seems to stand still. Kayaking, cycling, climbing, and even hot air balloon rides give visitors a chance to experience the region from every angle. Yet, alongside its beauty lies a history carved in blood and resilience. The Ardennes was the stage for one of World War II's most decisive and devastating events, the Battle of the Bulge. In the winter of 1944, German forces launched a surprise offensive through these forests, catching Allied troops off guard. The brutal battle that followed would become one of the largest fought on the Western Front. Towns like Bastogne became symbols of courage and endurance, where soldiers and civilians alike faced unimaginable hardship. Today, memorials and museums across the Ardennes ensure these stories are never forgotten. The Bastogne War Museum immerses visitors in the conflict through personal account, artifacts, and dramatic reconstructions. At the Martyson Memorial, A massive star-shaped monument honors the thousands of American soldiers who fought and died here. Standing on this ground, surrounded by peaceful forests, it is hard to imagine the destruction that once unfolded, but that is the Ardennes' power. It holds the memory of war and landscapes now reclaimed by peace. The Ardennes are also a land of legends. Castles rise proudly from its valleys, their stone walls blending with the hills. The medieval Château de Bouillon, once home to the crusader Godfrey of Bouillon, dominates its town with towers and battlements that seem pulled from a storybook. The Château de la Roche-en-Ardennes, perched above the Orthe River, offers not just history but folklore. Locals say it is haunted by the ghost of a medieval lady betrayed by her lover. These castles remind us that the Ardennes are not just wild, they are deeply human, filled with centuries of myth and memory. In the villages of the Ardennes, life moves to a gentler rhythm. Stone houses with slate roofs cluster around church spires, markets buzz with local produce, and inns welcome travelers with warmth. The cuisine of the Ardennes reflects its land hearty, rustic, and full of flavor. Wild game, trout from the rivers, and local cheeses fill the tables, often paired with dark, robust beers brewed in ancient abbeys. For those with a sweet tooth, the region also offers artisanal chocolates and pastries made with recipes passed down through generations. But perhaps the greatest treasure of the Ardennes is its ability to transport you to another time, another pace, another way of life. Standing on a cliff overlooking a river bend, hearing only the rustle of leaves and the call of birds, you realize how rare it is to find such untouched beauty in the heart of Europe. It is no wonder that poets, painters, and travelers have long been drawn to these landscapes. As dusk falls, the Ardennes reveal yet another side of their magic. Mists drift through the valleys. The last light catches the stone walls of castles, and the forests hum with night creatures. It is a world both enchanting and mysterious, a place that seems unchanged even as centuries pass. The Ardennes remind us that Belgium is not just about cities and culture, but also about wilderness, resilience, and memory. It is a region where nature heals, where history teaches, and where beauty leaves an imprint on the soul. And as we leave the rolling hills and rivers behind, our journey takes us toward a place where healing waters flow and luxury meets history. Next, we arrive in Spa, the town that gave its name to relaxation itself, a place of rejuvenation, elegance, and timeless allure. There are names that become larger than the places they come from, names that travel across the world, shaping language itself. Spa is one such word. Whenever we think of wellness, thermal baths, or rejuvenation, we call it a spa. But behind that word lies a very real town in Belgium, a place of healing waters, royal visits, and timeless elegance. This is Spa, the original spa town of Europe, where centuries of history and natural wonder come together to offer rest for the body and renewal for the soul. Nestled in the lush Ardennes hills, Spa has been celebrated for its mineral springs since Roman times. The waters bubbling up from beneath its soil are rich in iron and minerals, believed for centuries to hold healing properties. By the 16th century, Spa was already attracting nobles, aristocrats, and intellectuals from across Europe, all eager to drink from its fountains and bathe in its restorative waters. It was so renowned that it earned the nickname Café of Europe, a meeting point for kings, artists, philosophers, and dreamers. The springs of Spa became more than just sources of water. They became symbols of health, status, and culture. Even today, visitors can trace this legacy by exploring the town's historic fountains, such as the Pujon Pierre le Grand, where Tsar Peter the Great himself once came to drink. The elegant pavilion that surrounds the spring is a reminder that Spa was not just a retreat, it was a stage for Europe's most powerful and influential figures. The town itself reflects this heritage of refinement. Elegant 18th and 19th century buildings line its streets, housing hotels, cafes, and casinos that once welcomed Europe's elite. The Casino of Spa, often called the oldest in the world, still stands as a testament to the town's glamorous past, where visitors combined relaxation with entertainment, conversation, and intrigue. Walking through Spa today feels like stepping into an era where leisure was an art form, and health was a pursuit of beauty as well as well-being. Of course, the heart of Spa remains its waters. The Thermes de Spa, a modern wellness complex perched on a hill above the town, continues the tradition that began centuries ago. Here, visitors can soak in thermal pools, relax in saunas, and enjoy treatments inspired by the mineral springs that made Spa famous. The views over the green hills of the Ardennes remind us that this experience has always been about harmony between body and nature, between tradition and renewal. But Spa is not only about relaxation, it is also about vitality. The surrounding region is filled with hiking trails, forests, and panoramic viewpoints that invite exploration. The Fagnes des Marchands Nature Reserve stretches nearby, a mystical landscape of peat bogs and rare wildlife. Walking through its quiet paths, you realize why Spa has always been a place of healing, not just because of its waters, but because of its landscape, where air, silence, and beauty restore the spirit. Spa has also played its part in history beyond wellness. It was here, during World War I, that Germany established its military headquarters, and here, in World War II, that battles raged during the Ardennes offensive. The contrast is striking, a town known for peace and healing caught in the chaos of war. Yet, Spa survived, and today, it continues to symbolize resilience and renewal, a reminder that even after conflict, life and beauty endure. And then, there is Spa's other global contribution, the world of speed. The Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, just outside the town, is one of the most legendary racetracks in the world. Known for its dramatic curves, elevation changes, and challenging weather, it is the crown jewel of Formula One racing. Here, the roar of engines contrasts with the silence of the thermal baths, showing Spa's unique ability to embrace both relaxation and adrenaline. Culinary traditions here, like everywhere in Belgium, delight the senses. From Ardennes ham to creamy cheeses, and of course, Belgian chocolates, the region's flavors pair perfectly with the tranquil rhythm of the town. And after a day of exploration, nothing is more satisfying than enjoying a meal on a quiet terrace with the soft sounds of fountains and the scent of the forest in the air. As evening falls, Spa glows with a serene charm. The lights of its elegant streets shimmer softly. The casino stands illuminated like a jewel of another age, and the surrounding hills settle into peaceful darkness. In that moment, Spa is more than a destination, it is a feeling, a promise of renewal, a reminder that even in the rush of modern life, there must always be places where we pause, breathe, and restore. Spa is not just the origin of a word, it is the origin of a tradition, one that continues to shape how we think about health and well-being today. To visit Spa is to step into a story centuries in the making, a story of water, healing, and human longing for balance. And as we leave this soothing embrace of Spa, our journey turns once more to history, toward the battlefields and memorials of Flanders, where the echoes of World War I still speak to us through the silence of fields and the tolling of bells. There are landscapes that hold beauty, and there are landscapes that hold memory. In Belgium's Flanders region, the fields stretch wide and quiet, but beneath their green grass and red poppies lies a history written in sacrifice and sorrow. This is Ypres and the Flanders Fields, a place where the echoes of World War I still whisper through the wind, where silence carries the weight of millions of lives lost, and where visitors come not for leisure, but for remembrance. The story of Ypres is one of both devastation and resilience. Once a thriving medieval city known for its cloth trade, Ypres became the stage of some of the most brutal battles of the First World War. From 1914 to 1918, the town was reduced to rubble. Its churches, homes, and streets destroyed in relentless bombardments. Yet, from the ashes, Ypres was rebuilt stone by stone, a living testament to human endurance and the determination to preserve memory. Walking through Ypres today, you feel this duality beauty intertwined with grief. The Cloth Hall, once the largest commercial building in medieval Europe, was completely destroyed during the war, but painstakingly reconstructed in its original Gothic grandeur. Standing before its towering facade, you see not only architecture, but a symbol of Belgium's will to rebuild what war tried to erase. But the heart of remembrance in Ypres is the Menin Gate. This grand memorial, built in the 1920s, carries the names of more than 54 soldiers from the Commonwealth whose bodies were never recovered. Every evening at 8 p.m., traffic halts, and the last post ceremony is played by buglers under its arches. Night after night, without fail, for nearly a century, this ritual has honored the fallen. To witness it is to stand in silence with history itself, to feel the weight of lives cut short and the enduring gratitude of generations. Beyond the city, the Flanders Fields stretch endlessly. These were once muddy trenches, where soldiers endured unspeakable conditions, cold, hunger, fear, and the constant threat of death. Today, the land has healed, covered in green, and dotted with farms and villages, but the scars remain visible in the cemeteries and memorials that dot the countryside. White gravestones line the fields, row upon row, marking the resting places of young men from across the world who came to fight in a foreign land. Among the most moving is Tyncott Cemetery, the largest Commonwealth war cemetery in the world, where nearly 12 graves stand in solemn silence, watched over by a memorial wall listing thousands more missing in action. And then there is the poppy, the flower that became the eternal symbol of remembrance. Inspired by the poem In Flanders Fields, written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, the red poppy came to represent the bloodshed in these fields, the fragility of life, and the promise to never forget. Even today, visitors wear poppies as they walk through the cemeteries and memorials, a gesture that unites generations across continents in shared memory. Yet Ypres and Flanders are not only about sorrow, they are also about peace and the hope that arose from so much tragedy. Museums like the In Flanders Fields Museum bring history to life, with personal stories, artifacts, and interactive displays that remind us war is not just about dates and battles, but about human beings, sons, fathers, brothers, and friends. Schools, churches, and communities across the region work tirelessly to keep this memory alive, so that the lessons of the past guide the future. For travelers, a visit to Ypres and the Flanders Fields is unlike any other. It is not about sightseeing in the traditional sense, it is about bearing witness. Standing among the graves, listening to the last post, walking the quiet fields, you are reminded of the cost of freedom, of the fragility of peace, and of the importance of remembering what must never be repeated. And yet, life continues in Ypres. Cafes fill with conversation, markets bustle with energy, and the people of the city welcome visitors with warmth. Their resilience shows us that remembrance is not about being trapped in sorrow, it is about honoring the past while embracing the present. It is about carrying forward the lessons of sacrifice into a world still in need of unity and compassion. As the sun sets over Flanders, the fields glow golden, the memorials stand in solemn silence, and the wind carries the faint rustle of poppies swaying in the evening air. In that moment, you realize that Belgium's greatest wonder is not only its castles, cities, or rivers, it is its spirit. A spirit that endures through hardship, that rebuilds after devastation, and that teaches us the true meaning of memory and resilience. And so our journey across Belgium comes to its close. From the grandeur of Brussels and Bruges, to the medieval charm of Ghent, the cultural vibrancy of Antwerp, the wild forests of the Ardennes, the healing waters of Spa, and the solemn fields of Flanders, Belgium reveals itself as a country of contrasts, of beauty, and of heart. It is a nation small in size but vast in treasures, each corner offering a new story, a new wonder, a new reason to be remembered. Belgium, at once ancient and modern, joyful and solemn, is not just a destination, it is an experience, one that lingers long after you leave, in the taste of chocolate, the sound of bells, the view of rivers, and the memory of lives lived and lost on its soil. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.